hours away from a key meeting in the Oval Office.
The president wants $5 billion in next year's budget, but Democrats are reportedly offering $1.3 billion and not a dime more.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo slamming Russia for sending nuclear-capable bombers to Venezuela. The planes can carry missiles with a range of 3,400 miles.
Google CEO finally heading to the hot seat today on Capitol Hill to answer questions about possible bias against conservatives.
New research is showing children exposed to screens for more than 2 hours a day had lower scores.
We as parents need to get involved. Technology is here to stay, that we know, but we need to monitor it.
The most famous Christian prayer could soon be changed.
It's what were Jesus's words? And Pope Francis, I think, is bringing up a good point to say, let's make sure that we got the translation right.
And the person selected to host next year's Academy Awards may go to no one. Plot twist. Variety is reporting that the Academy is scrambling to find somebody.
Good. Those are the famous words of Brett Eldridge. And by the way, is Chris Allen, is that a American Idol winner?
Not me.
know that.
You were the self-described expert at American Idol.
And then what does that guy
I've been to 50 American Idols. I know everything.
I don't talk like...
Did that guy win?
I don't know, but I like that song. And Gavin's
was the
telling us,
winner.
yes, he was the winner.
I was. So Gavin looked that up?
Gavin,
He just knew it.
we need the voice of Gavin over us.
He chose the song.
He does not want to do that.
Anyway, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday.
All right, a live look at the White House, where we're expecting a shutdown showdown today. A key meeting in the Oval Office happening in just a few hours.
I want to say that. Shutdown showdown. President Trump sitting down with Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi today to talk border security as they're trying to work out a budget deal by next week. Will that happen?
Griff Jenkins is live in Washington. Griff, it sounds like the Democrats are going to give the president an ultimatum. You're going to take much less money than you want and get over it.
Doesn't sound like a good deal, does it, guys? Look, this deadline is 10 days away. The sticking point is funding for the wall. The president wants $5 billion. Democrats are reportedly offering $1.3 billion, or same as 2018, but that's less than the $1.6 billion that the Senate already agreed upon for 2019. So what's different this time? Well, it seems to be Democrats' swagger. They're taking back the House. Pelosi is eyeing the Speaker's gavel, and they are feeling very emboldened going into this meeting. Pelosi and Schumer issuing this statement saying, this holiday season, the president knows full well that his wall proposal does not have the votes to pass the House and Senate and should not be an obstacle to bipartisan agreement. And Schumer had this to say.
President Trump wants to throw a temper tantrum and shut down the government over Christmas, over the wall. That's his decision.
House Majority Whip Steve Scalise says the onus is on the Democrats, or they will take the blame for this.
The number's $5 billion. If there's a better way to get there than what the president's laid out, then they need to come with an alternative. They can't just come and say they want to shut the government down for no reason because they don't want border security. They'll lose that argument with the American people.
And the House Freedom Caucus is warning that this is our last chance to address illegal immigration before Democrats take over the House. The meeting is at 11:30, but you know, Steve, as you point out, it's hard to see how they get to an agreement with what's being laid down on the table.
Good point. All right, Griff, thank you very much. If there's no deal, by the end of the week, the funding would run out not only for the Department of Homeland Security, it would run out for the Ag Department, it would run out for NASA, it would run out for the Commerce Department, HUD, Transportation, and a number of other smaller agencies, about 600,000 federal workers in all, if they can't come to a deal. And we heard from Griff, the Democrats want to make it very clear to President Trump, if this happens, if there's a shutdown, it's on you.
But Nancy Pelosi really has no power for now. She's minority. She is outnumbered in the House. So it really comes down to Senator Schumer. Is he going to deliver the votes to get the somewhere between 5 and 1.3? Or else the president, I don't believe, is going to budge. My sense is, I'm wondering if Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, one thing they do is they know how to make a deal, or if they wanted to. Is there something they want that they could only get in the lame duck session. Can they? Do they?
Give
Prison
DACA
reform,
protection.
but although both sides want prison reform, what are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that maybe if the number one priority from the Democrats is infrastructure, if they could say we start off next year with infrastructure and there was some way to do that besides each other just winking a nod, that might be something.
I
they
doubt
could come
it.
to the
It
table.
doesn't look like they will compromise. I mean, the president was saying, I'll do the DACA thing if you give me the funding for the wall, and they said no to that. Nancy said, I'm
The
not.
president said no to that.
The president originally, no, a few months ago, remember, or maybe a year ago, said,
year
yes,
ago.
I'll do the DACA, I'll allow the DACA recipients to stay if you give me the funding for the wall. And then it didn't end up happening.
Now they say it's two separate things. We're not
Correct.
even interested in putting that together.
Right, exactly. So if you look at the deal right now, the Democrats are now saying, we had said 1.6, but now we're saying 1.3. Don't be surprised if at the end of the day they say, okay, we're negotiating. We'll give you the 1.6, which they originally agreed to. Keep in mind, the White House was going to think it was a win if he could get more than 1.6. Now, according to the Democrats, they'll probably be lucky, the White House will, if they even get 1.6.
1.3 is the current spending level or funding for it. So that's why they're saying, and you can use it on fencing, you can use it on technology, but we don't agree with the wall. We think it's immoral. So the Democrats were originally saying 1.6. Now they're down to 1.3. The president wants 5.
Yeah, that immoral wall that's sitting there in Israel has really been ineffective. I mean, they don't regret that. It stopped the suicide bombers on the spot. If you look at what's happening at the border, this is no midterm push to get votes. Midterms are over. The military is going to be pulling out about 2,000 troops before Christmas, but they're still down there proving to be effective. And I say this, let Democrats and Republicans go on their own. You as a citizen, ask the Border Patrol what they need. They will tell you in certain areas we absolutely need a fence. In other areas we don't. In other areas we need a wall. And just do what they do. These guys are and women are apolitical. They need some help. And this stuff in Washington drives them nuts because these two people sitting in cozy Washington staring at each other while they sit there in sweltering heat at the wall with no help.
Right, but historically, you look at the Republican Party, there have been a number of Republicans who have not been on board with the president's wall, and now they're in the 11th hour. They're going to lose control of the House. Is anything going to get done? We'll be talking about it tomorrow.
Ready for more tax reform? That's what Kevin Brady's doing as chairman of Ways and Means for a couple more weeks. He's proposing this, literally at the 11th hour. He wants to reform retirement savings, delay Obamacare-related taxes, technical corrections to the tax overhaul, which need to be done, and tax benefits for natural disasters. At least two of those things I think Democrats are on board for, but Senator Wyden came out and said, if you want to do this bipartisan, not what I just read.
Right, and they're attaching it to a bill that is non-controversial, supposedly. It's very similar to what Kevin Brady introduced a couple of weeks ago, but because they need 60 senators, and that's going to include some Democrats, they tried to make it a little more bipartisan, but I don't know if at the 11th hour they're going to give the Republicans a win when it comes to taxes.
All right, well, that's Kevin Brady. Now let's talk about Kevin Hart. You know that he bowed out. He's not going to host the Oscars for something that he had said or tweeted out about a while ago, years ago. So he stepped down, and now the Academy is saying, you know what? We might not even have a host.
Yeah, they might just have a series of one person introduces the other, who introduces the other, who introduces the other, and that's it. I mean, this is unbelievable because it's a third rail for a lot of these big-time celebrities. It used to be when Johnny Carson did it, when Billy Crystal did it. It was up until David Letterman, almost everyone was successful. When Letterman hosted it tended to bomb and hurt his career. Jimmy Kimmel, I thought, has gotten pretty good reviews, but Kevin Hart coming out having to defend Twitter remarks from 2011 blew the whole thing up.
So what they're suggesting is, according to Variety, apparently the Academy is considering a range of options, and one would be to essentially do a Saturday Night Live style thing where you have a bunch of big celebrities come out, they introduce one thing, then they move on, they have some different buzzy people throw to commercials and stuff like that. Pat Sajak, who, you know him from Wheel of Fortune, he's got a pretty good sense of humor, and he recognizes the fact that in the past, the Oscars have been very political in nature. He tweeted this out. Here's a quick fix for the Academy Awards show. Expand it to 2 nights. On the first night, give out awards and celebrate the history and wonder of movies. On the second night, hold your political rally.
Well, there he is. That's
Is that tongue in cheek? You think that's funny?
Yeah, I just
Supposed to be funny?
Yeah, it is.
That is funny.
He's kind of a sarcastic guy. But I would say this. I think the bigger conversation is when you look at the Heisman Trophy winner having to justify tweets that are unacceptable, but back when he was 14 or 15. When you look at Kevin Hart, who's 39, having to justify what he thought was funny in 2011. That's 7 years ago. And then you look at what comedian could, or anybody, what commentator could possibly defend everything they wrote or said for really, if you look at the Brett Kavanaugh situation, almost their entire semi-adult life. How could we possibly stay on this path? What life can withstand this? What life can withstand this type of scrutiny?
Well, if you're an actor, most of them have gotten so political. If you're a late night talk show host, most of them are political. All of them probably are. And if you're a comedian, the PC police won't allow you to say anything. So who's someone that's not political that would work? Like a musician or maybe an athlete?
Well, as they look over the last couple of years, the ratings have steadily gone down, down, down. So maybe this is actually a good idea to have a host of big names come in and do it. I mean, the paradigm is different than it was 30 years ago. Television viewing is different. Maybe people would tune in for a little longer if they saw a bunch of big stars.
And if any of the movies that entered anyone want to see, that would also help too. Those are very good movies, but not the popular movies. I like what they thought about doing, and that's giving awards to the box office hits, and maybe they aren't artistically pleasing, but America likes to watch.
What if they did like a George Bush and a Bill Clinton?
What do you
or
mean?
George Bush and Barack Obama? That they hosted it together?
Then it really would be political.
Yes, it would be. It already is.
We need your comments on this.
That's right.
Tell us, if you're living the perfect life, host the Oscars, put your name in.
Email us, friends@foxnews.com, or we're also on Facebook, as is Jillian, who joins us with the headline.
She's on Facebook.
That's right. I'm on
Good
Facebook.
morning.
I'm on all of them. Good morning. Let's get to this breaking news, and this is breaking overnight. 5 Marines missing after a military plane crash, now declared dead. The rescue search ending nearly a week after 2 American warplanes collided during a training exercise off the coast of Japan. 2 Marines were recovered. Captain Jamar Resusler died in the crash. Another crew member was found and is in fair condition. The cause of that crash is currently under investigation. British Prime Minister Theresa May meeting with leaders across Europe as her Brexit battle continues. May arriving in the Netherlands today to meet with the Dutch Prime Minister. He told a local media outlet the two had a, quote, useful dialogue. May heads to Germany next. It comes one day after she delayed the UK's crucial Brexit vote over concerns it would fail. Senior Trump advisor Jared Kushner optimistic about the administration's plan for peace in the Middle East.
We're hopeful in the next couple of months we'll put out our plan, which, again, not every side is going to love, but there's enough in it and enough reasons why people should take it and move forward. And this plan will keep the Israeli people safe, give them a good future, but also give a real opportunity and hope for the Palestinian people.
The Israel-Palestinian conflict has continued for 70 years. And you have to stop what you're doing and watch this. A Christmas fail of epic proportions. A woman falls through the ceiling as she's looking for decorations in her attic. As you can see, her legs left dangling between 2 floors of her home. She said she was stuck for about 15 minutes before her partner noticed and called for help. Firefighters in England saved the woman dressed in Beauty and the Beast pajamas.
How about this? You see her sticking with her legs sticking out, you take a picture, you don't help her?
Of course you do.
You do?
No, there was someone helping her. There's a firefighter helping her. See, and her friends taking a picture.
I mean, you got to document that moment because
Right.
now,
no, she stepped
we're
on the
all enjoying
insulation.
it.
Yeah.
Remember your dad said when you were little, like, don't walk in between the
yeah.
planks because you'll step into the insulation and fall through.
It's side note funny as long as she's okay.
It would never have
She's
happened in
okay.
America.
All right, Jillian, thank you very much. Meanwhile, the number is stunning. 10 known terrorists are captured trying to enter the United States every day. Will that be enough to convince Democrats to get tough on border security? David Anton on that coming up.
Every single day in this country, at least 10 known terrorists are captured trying to cross into America through our border. When the president's saying we're going to secure the border, there's a reason. He's fighting to keep this country safe because there really are bad people that try to come here.
Those terrifying numbers revealed ahead of the president's high-stakes meeting with Democrats today. So why won't Democrats get behind a tougher border plan? Wouldn't it work for the country? Michael Anton served as a senior national security official with the Trump administration. Here to weigh in. Michael, does the president have a card to play? Does he have any leverage over Chuck and Nancy?
Well, he has the American people's public opinion on his side, that's for sure. He won the election largely on this issue. The problem that he has in the negotiation is that the Democrats know that their base, they don't agree, their base doesn't agree with the broader American people's public opinion. Their base doesn't want border security, and the Democratic leadership knows that border security doesn't benefit Democratic politics. So I think they're gonna be tough on this. They're gonna hold firm. They don't want a wall. They don't want greater security, and they really don't care about the consequences, because for them, the consequence is the more immigrants come in, the more demographic change there is in the United States of America, the more that benefits Democratic politicians, and that's what they care about the most.
So nothing changed with what's happening in Tijuana. Nothing changed with the military at the border. Nothing changed with these caravans in terms of Democratic base opinion.
I don't think Democratic base opinion changed, but it's too much to say that nothing changed. Look, if Hillary Clinton had won the 2016 election, there's no question in my mind that the Department of Homeland Security would not be as strong as it's being right now on the border, that a President Clinton would not have deployed our military to secure our border, which is one of the fundamental things a government is supposed to do, secure the borders of a country. So that caravan, had it happened in a Hillary Clinton administration, probably would have walked right into the United States and been welcomed by the United States government and so on and so forth, in a way that the Trump administration did not do. The Trump administration stood up for our borders, stood up for the American people, the existing citizenry of the United States, and I'm grateful for that. But the fact of the matter is, I think you're right. In the second half of what you said, it did not change Democratic or liberal public opinion. No.
And real quick, Michael, the U.S. arrested 170 immigrants who tried to claim migrant children evil. And also we see about the terrorist crossing, the number's way too high. So when the president goes in and talks today, does he walk away with the $1.6 billion and say that's good enough?
I hope he gets more than that. I hope he gets as much as he wants. I think, though, that the Democratic leadership is not inclined to give him anything. Again, my view of this, having watched it for a long time, they don't want a wall at all. They don't want greater security. Their view is they want to give him as little as they can possibly get away with.
Michael, I'm glad you came on the show, but you didn't make me feel better. Thanks so much, Michael Anton. Great to see you.
Thanks.
Straight ahead. And Google CEO is in the hot seat this morning. He plans to tell Congress there's no political bias at his company and try not to laugh. Our next guest directed a documentary about Google's bias. He's live next.
Time now for some news by the numbers. First, 29,000 pounds. That's how much Jimmy Dean sausage is being recalled after 5 people found pieces of metal in the food. The frozen, ready-to-eat sausage links packaged on August 4th. If they're in your freezer, throw them away. No one has gotten hurt. Just a word of warning. Next, 138. That's how many people were arrested protesting climate change outside Nancy Pelosi's office. Capitol cops say they were unlawfully demonstrating. And finally, $0. Panera Bread is giving out free bagels every day until the end of the year. All you have to do is sign up for Panera's reward program. The offer does not include spreads like cream cheese, but the bagels are free.
You got to buy the cream cheese, though. All right, happening today, the Google CEO will testify before the House Judiciary Committee in a hearing focused on transparency and accountability. It comes as the company is facing allegations it is biased against conservatives.
You got a new documentary called The Creepy Line. Takes a closer look at some of the bias.
They can suppress certain types of results based on what they think you should be seeing, based on what your followers are presenting.
By suppressing stories, by steering us towards other stories rather than the stories we're actually seeking. That's the real manipulation that's going on.
Look at that. The film's director, Matthew Taylor, joins us live. Matthew, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Apparently, the CEO of Google is going to say later today, I lead this company without political bias. All right, he might lead the company without political bias, but is there political bias at Google?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that, most of the time we wouldn't care who votes for or donates to who in any company. But since it's an information sector company that builds censorship and surveillance, basically platforms, we have to be concerned because they have to make a choice between what is good and bad, right and wrong. And so that is deeply concerning since they are the only company besides Facebook that controls all of the information. So if there's any bias, we have to be concerned, and they're just not transparent.
Matthew, we have some examples, and some of these are unbelievable. You know, you start typing in Google in the space, and then some suggestions come up based on what you're typing. You're starting to type. So if you start to type top races D, as in Democrat, then top races Democrat comes up. But if you start typing top races R for Republican, then do you know what comes up? Top racist Republicans.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it puts a little squiggly red line like you spelled it incorrectly. And actually in the film, we did this live. And sure, Google has probably gone and corrected it at this point in time. But at the time, this was a big story. You could just, type anything. It makes auto suggestions, which helps push people's opinions. And this can really undermine democracy.
Well, a lot of opinions were being formed about the time of the travel ban. What did Google try to do regarding that and search results?
Well, Google will modify or censor search results. I mean, this is kind of their MO. They take things and they just disappear.
At what level? Are these at the executive level they disappear, or are these workers?
Algorithm writers.
I mean, I think with Google, the idea of the evil corporate overlord is kind of different. With them, they have a whole group of very smart people. You have low-level engineers that can just change things in the algorithms and modify things. And so it's not always this directive from, these people in the clouds. There's a lot of people who they're utopians. They see things as right and wrong. Apple doesn't see things as right and wrong. They want to sell you a phone.
Sure,
I get that.
What did they do regarding the travel ban?
I forget right now exactly the particulars of it.
It says Google employees brainstorm ways to alter functions to counter the Trump's 2017 ban. The Wall Street Journal reported in September, citing internal emails. So this isn't conjecture; it's written.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, a lot of information has come out recently about their bias. Obviously, there were the videos leaked about how they wanted to manipulate the election, what they wanted to do with the Hispanic vote, and a number of other things. For Hillary Clinton.
To push the Hispanic turnout for Hillary Clinton. And Google executives leaked emails revealed efforts to increase the turnout.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, they were surprised that they were not getting the results that they expected. And so, again, I think it shouldn't matter how you vote or who you donate to in a company. That should be your right. That we're in America.
You directed the Creepy Line.
Yes.
Tell us about that, why you wanted to be a part of that and what it's about.
The Creepy Line, I love technology. I love these platforms. They're really great. I love my iPhone, my watch. I love Google Search. But over the last 15, 20 years, these companies have proven to not be trustworthy. They keep getting caught, right? They never come out and say, oh, we made a mistake. They're always caught. They're always caught losing our data, selling our data, manipulating the results. And so I think for innovation and for the future of our democracy, this is the issue of the day. And so we wanted to make a film that opened people's kind of minds up to what is actually going on and how vast this is.
This is going to be a mismatch in Washington. I mean, Matt, they're going to sit there and talk to the CEO of Google, who's at a level in tech knowledge that these guys and women can never approach. They have other expertise. So what do you expect to happen today? What do you expect to be exposed?
I mean, here's the thing. They're going to ask the questions, and Google's going to give their boilerplate response. We're not biased. We don't do anything. Right. And here's the thing. If they're biased, that's fine. Just be honest. Just tell us. I don't mind. That's cool. We know other news sources and other media outlets. We know where everybody stands. With Google, they say, no, we're not. We don't do this. If you do it, just let us know so we all know. And so, you have Congress and Senate. I love everybody on the Hill. But, they're not exactly sure what they're looking at. So Google could say, well, we changed it, we fixed it. But how do you confirm that?
So you're not optimistic anything's really going to be exposed today?
No, I don't believe the regulatory tools that are in our toolbox right now, they're all 20th century tools for 20th century companies. It's a 21st century company. Until we fix the fundamental underlying infrastructure of collecting your data, there is nothing that we can do.
Well, we could watch the Creepy Line.
Absolutely.
And that's your movie. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
iTunes, Amazon.
Good to see you.
iTunes, Amazon, and then there's additional content on YouTube.
There you go. Just Google it, and it might pop up.
Maybe not.
Right.
Let's suppress it.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, some college students want Justice Clarence Thomas's name removed from a building, but why do they want to get rid of it?
I don't know. I haven't done much research on this.
He is a historical figure, though. So is Hitler.
Okay, Cabot Phillips, the guy behind that video, is going to join us live coming up.
And we all love Christmas songs, don't we? Especially when they start in like October. But do you know all the words to the Christmas song? It's Christmas quiz time. Tom Shalhoub is here. He's putting our knowledge to the test.
The guy
We're all
from-
very scared.
The quiz guy from Fox Nation.
This year. And I'm free, and I'm home of the brave.
There you go. It's your shot of the morning and sound of the morning, a powerful show of patriotism at Nashville Airport.
That's right. Travelers stopping to salute and sing the national anthem to honor children whose parents died in combat.
Yeah, all those kids were boarding a special American Airlines flight to Disney World for an all-expenses-paid trip. Isn't that so
is
sweet?
terrific. Congratulations. It's
I
very
was in
nice
the
of
airport over the weekend, and all these sailors came through, probably 30 of them, and everyone just started clapping. It was awesome.
Gary Sinise's organization does
Yeah.
that. He's
Yeah.
doing that for to send them all to Disney. It's awesome. Meanwhile, Jillian Mealy, she's fresh off her vacation where she had the stomach virus.
Yes, I was sick. Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
Not everyone
Nation
needed
knowing
to know that. Good morning, guys. Let's get you caught up on your news this morning, including this. A cocaine train run by El Chapo was smuggling drugs into the U.S. for years. The shocking revelation by a former cartel member at the drug kingpin's trial in New York City. He claims the cocaine would be hidden inside oil tankers and that the train helped bring in $80 million over 3 years. El Chapo faces life behind bars if convicted. A record number of cases of a mysterious polio-like illness now reported in the U.S. The CDC confirming 158 cases of acute flaccid myelitis, an increase of 24 from just last week. This is the highest number of cases in a single year since the CDC began tracking the illness in 2014. The average patient is just 5 years old. Health officials still aren't sure what is causing that disease. A police officer risks his life to save a family trapped in a burning condo. Watch this.
We got her! We got her, Joey! Come on, let's go, Joey! Joey, we got her!
Wow, Officer Joseph Grasso scaling a second-floor balcony twice to save children and their grandparents before firefighters arrived. Incredible video showing the New Jersey officers catching a 6-month-old baby boy. No one was seriously hurt. NASA is stepping in after basketball star Steph Curry revealed he doesn't believe in the moon landing.
We ever been to the moon? Nope. They gonna come get us. I don't think so. Sorry, I don't want to start conspiracy.
Okay, well, after that, NASA inviting the Golden State Warriors star to tour their lab, telling the New York Times, quote, he can see firsthand what we did 50 years ago, as well as what we're doing now to go back to the moon in the coming years. By the way, we first went to the moon in 1969. Love that photo.
Yeah, I heard we're going back to the moon. That's great news.
All
Send
right.
it to you guys.
Thank you, Jillian.
All right, this week we are getting in the Christmas spirit by testing our knowledge of all things Christmas.
And yes, here to put our Christmas song lyric skills to the test is by popular demand comedian and host of Fox Nation's The Quiz Show, Tom Shalhoub, who also has a fine radio show.
Yes.
Hey, Tom. Hello, Tommy.
Today it is not movies. We are doing song lyrics of your favorite Christmas songs. You ready for number one?
Play along at home,
Get
folks.
those hands over the buzzers. He's making a list and checking it twice. He's gonna find out blank. Steve Ducey.
Who's naughty or nice?
Who's naughty or nice?
Well,
Okay.
The whole phrase? I thought it was
How do you
one.
know
I thought
he
it was
was
whose.
I saw him first, but I'll keep a careful eye on you, Brian.
saw him first?
I
That's
saw
the
him first.
technical thing.
Yes. And that was a gimme, guys. All right, that was an
Okay,
easy.
that
They're
was
not
okay.
all going to be like this.
All right, go.
Here we go. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night blank, Ainsley.
Of our dear Savior's birth.
Of our dear Savior's birth. That's it.
I hit it too soon. Sorry. Does that disqualify me?
Yeah, it should. It should disqualify.
And you can sing them out if you want, guys.
Brian, you're a poor loser.
I just want a game that just with rules.
My eyes are on you, Brian.
Rules.
Okay, ready? Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a blank, Brian.
10-foot pole.
That is wrong. That is wrong. What kind of a pole is it? What kind of a pole? Do we have the song? I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5.
Spiders, you've
There
got
we go.
garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
39.5 foot
39.5.
pole.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Well, you leave a half a foot for the Who's in Whoville. They're a half a foot tall.
Right. That makes sense. Oh, thank you. That makes sense now.
I don't want to give away the ending, but in the end, the Grinch does not become a Grinch anymore, right? He's
Still a Grinch, but he's got a heart.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of sequels, though. There's a lot of room for more Grinching. All right, you ready? Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later, we'll have some pumpkin pie.
And some...
Blank!
And what is the... Not apple cider. What is it?
Put the lyrics back up again.
You guys don't know?
Yeah, do it again.
Put the lyrics back up again.
How about this, guys? I'll give you a little melody hint. Later, we'll have some pumpkin pie, and we'll...
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
And we'll...
Let's play the song. Let's play the song.
Do some caroling!
Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling.
Ainsley, did you get that, or did someone tell you?
Somebody told me.
She definitely cheated. Yeah, absolutely.
If we don't know it like that, if we don't know it, hold on.
Here we go.
If we don't know it, will you lead us into it? Like, say
I'll
the
lead you
first
in. We got
word.
one more, guys.
Okay.
We've been good, but we can't last. Hurry, Christmas, hurry fast.
Oh.
Want a plane that loops the loop? Me, I want. Fruit Loops. Fruity.
Hey. That's a
Let's
good
hear the song.
Let's do it. Let me just say something. I could hear that 20 times and I could not make out hula hoop. Are you serious? I have no, because it all blends. Alvin and Schmucks, they blend.
Who's
you can't
the
make out a
Grinch
word.
Who is the Grinch?
I'm just saying. I mean, you should. That is not a real Christmas song.
That is.
So who
Wait,
won?
are we done?
I'd say Ainsley won. She got two.
No, I don't know about that. I only won one. I think you won one too, didn't you?
I got two.
Oh, you won then.
All right. Hey, Tom, would you bring a scorekeeper next time? Instead of I say Ainsley won, there should be like
I'm gonna bring a hula hoop for you, Brian. I'll bring a hula hoop.
Tom,
You're the worst.
next time come with a 39.5-foot pole, okay?
Right.
All
And
right,
then
watch
you can
Tom
tap who
over
wins.
at Fox Nation. And listen to his radio show. All right.
Tom, will you come back? This is fun.
Why not?
Try to make it a little more complicated, Laura. All right. Meanwhile, he's already got a full screen. Meanwhile, some college students want Justice Clarence Thomas' name removed from a building. But why do they get rid of it?
I don't know. I've done much research on this.
He is a historical figure, though. So is Hitler.
Cabot Phillips, the man behind that video, is here next. Plus, exactly 2 weeks to go until Christmas. Still need the perfect gift for the special lady in your life. We've got the gifts she wants, like brand new luggage. She needs a bag.
Ship her off now.
That's what it sounds like. We'll be right back.
He is a sitting Supreme Court justice, but some students and alumni in his home state of Georgia want Justice Clarence Thomas's name removed from a campus building at the Savannah College of Arts and Design. But what happened when Campus Reform went to the school to ask students why they wanted his name removed? Here with that is Campus Reform's media director, Cabot Phillips. Good morning to you, Cabot. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
So when you went to the school, what did you find out?
Well, over 2,000 people signed this petition to remove the name of Clarence Thomas because he was this hateful person that none of them agreed with. They couldn't stand by his values and principles. Student after student signed my petition saying that they wanted his name taken off the building. And have a look. What's your thought on the petition?
I honestly think he should be removed.
We should probably just take his name off the building. It's not that big of a deal. I agree that it should get removed.
Is there anything that comes to mind that he's done that you would point to as something that you think disqualifies him?
I don't know. I've done much research on this.
He is a historical figure, though so is Hitler.
Is there anything that Justice Thomas has done that you would point to and say that's why we shouldn't have him?
I mean, not in particular.
So did you find out the real reason why the person who wanted this from the very beginning, the person who started this petition, wanted his name removed from the building?
Very few people had any details to offer on why they were so upset. It was incredibly interesting. Not only were these students ignorant on the history and the civics of our country and the life of Clarence Thomas, they were also ignorant about all the things Justice Thomas has done to get to where he is, overcoming extreme poverty, fighting through Jim Crow-era racism, and now becoming one of the most powerful members of our judiciary, just the second African-American to do that. You would think that many on the social justice left would be applauding him, holding him up as an icon, but sadly, so many people on the left are unable to embrace someone or even just recognize their accomplishments if they don't agree with them. It's like, we have to agree with everything you do, and if we don't, we're going to erase you from history. Right. And that's the growing narrative that we see.
Well, the one guy comparing him to Hitler, I mean, he's a Supreme Court justice, you know? This is what the author of this petition, Sage Lucero, an alumni, sent us the statement. It wasn't a petition against Justice Thomas. It was a petition in order to make women feel welcome on their campus. I'm not discounting the work Justice Thomas has done in any way. All I am saying is it makes young women feel unwelcome. Did you find that to be the case? Did young women feel unwelcome at the college?
I think this petition had very little to do with making women feel safe and more to do with making conservatives be absent from campus or making anyone that was deemed as being anti-left as being taken off of campus. And we've seen this growing trend at the Leadership Institute's campus reform, how there's an overwhelming pressure to go along with any sort of social justice initiative. And so many of these students, they didn't know if they were signing this petition because it was supposedly to help women or whatever it was. They just knew that there was a petition that was, forwarded, and they wanted to show everyone, I am also a social justice warrior and advocate. I'm going to go along with this because it's what you do. I'm a young person. I have to get involved with this left-leaning cause. And that pressure, I think, leads a lot of people to get involved in causes that they don't necessarily know a lot about.
Right, exactly. The Anita Hill situation happened back in the 90s, and maybe these individuals don't agree with his politics. Thank you so much for being with us. We are being told that the petition has been dropped, the case has been dropped, or the issue has been dropped, and his name will remain on that building, at least for now. Thank you, Cabot.
For now, absolutely.
Exactly. All right, the buzz is President Trump might pick David Bossie as his next chief of staff. Would he want the job? We're going to ask him in the next hour. And 2 weeks until Christmas, still need that perfect gift for your special lady. We have got the gifts that she really is going to want. That's coming up next.
The perfect gift for me would be completions and connections left from last year. Ski shopping, counter, most interesting.
There are exactly 2 weeks until Christmas Day, and fellas, listen up. If you still haven't found the perfect gift for that special lady in your life, we've got some suggestions.
All right, lifestyle expert Lamore Suss joins us right now again, this time focusing on a different gender, the female gender.
Exactly. And so I travel a lot, and so one of the things that I always like is luggage, and so I'm going to show you this cool bag.
Send your wife away.
Maybe for
No, seriously, I heard that this bag, Steve was telling me
We
earlier,
have all the
and one of our
juices have
producers
this
said
bag.
this is the best bag ever. What makes the away bag so great?
Okay,
This
so
thing
one of
right here,
it has
the
an ejectable battery. It actually rolls through the airport like butter.
You can charge your phone on
You
it?
can charge, so it has like an ejectable battery. So you can't actually put this under the plane, but
and you're allowed to take that on. You know how you hear those announcements?
Yes.
You're not allowed to have the batteries.
You take it
you
out.
can put it. Yeah, you take it out. You put it onto on your carry-out. You can't put it under the plane, but you can put it on the plane.
And how much is that?
So it's about $200.
Okay. Very good. Next up, if you want to personalize something sentimental, do it that way.
Yes, so these are personalized gifts. So this is custom art, and you can get these at minted.com. And you can really just take any picture that you have of you and your family, put it on notebooks or calendars or just even framed. They have so many great there's so many great options there. And Minted is a collection of indie artists, so they have really, really cool, unique stuff there. So you definitely want to check that out.
I love that website. Okay.
What do we got here?
Okay,
So first we'll do Hunter boots.
Yes, so basically, I think that a great gift is something that someone's not necessarily going to buy themselves. So I love Hunter boots and Uggs, but it's something that I might not want to splurge on. So what you want to do is just get them something that they might like that's in the fashion sense, and then buy that for them. So these I actually got at eBay, and actually today, as part of their 12 days of discounts, you can save 10% off of all the fashion items on the site. So you just put in the code Perfect Style up to $100.
Okay, and quickly, this is so big. It's the Instapot.
Yes, it's the Instapot. It's like one of the biggest gifts that you can give this holiday season. It's the Instapot Viva 8-quart, 9-in-1 functions. This one's actually exclusive to Sam's Club, and we were talking about this. They have a massive sale this Saturday. This one is normally $130. You can get it for $90.
All right,
It's like
so
a combination pressure cooker.
It's a combination
Honey
pressure
cook
cooker.
Leo.
You can basically, it replaces like 9 different appliances. You can actually.
Do you know
replace
what? Let
with
me say
this.
this too. When you did the radios for the men, I bought some of those. I went to samsclub.com. I'm not a member, and they still let me buy it.
Yeah.
So you can buy this without being a member.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, this is like the hottest gift that you can really give someone. It really just saves so much time in the kitchen. You definitely want to check that out.
Okay, what about the last one?
Real quick.
The last one, just gourmet olive oils and salt. So one of my favorite things that I got as a gift was truffle salt, and it's like literally one of my favorites. These are from the filling station. They have places down in Chelsea Market, New York, but they also, thefillingstation.com also has them online. Gourmet salts and vinegars and olive oils and things like
If
that.
you'd like more information about any of the things, they'll be on foxandfriends.com. Morse, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, coming up on the big show, we got David Bossie and Franklin Graham, both here live.
Wow.